Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogue with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Hooray!
Yes.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Yay! Thank you so much. Ah, what a blessing to be with you. Thank you so much for joining. When you join like that, when you join in an openness to the truth, you feel a certain kind of energy, don't you? You notice that? You feel it, it's almost like you're getting help in that. And it is, it's a symbolic of that. You're getting help, you're getting the guidance. And also watch that it's easy for the mind to get distracted in it too. So in watching and making sure you're checking in and you are in that open space, because a lot of times a thought will occur to you and it's not really conducive to, your seeing that particular thought, and you might just follow it. You might just follow that thought and lose that feeling. See? And when you notice that you've lost the feeling, that feeling that you get in joining in a sincere seeking of the truth or openness to the truth, if that's what you want to say. And it's like no one has the truth. I've stated many times in wisdom dialogues that whatever I say, it's not the truth. Because any of those can be taken and used as a defense against the truth. Any of those concepts. It doesn't matter. It could be the most beautiful concept. Any of them can be taken. So it's like your guide, your guide, your real spirit guide is within you. So as long as you're in an opening, you're receiving more of that.
That's what I've been feeling, because I can't get on the internet right now. I have to go to Paradise. And I look on, it's been days, and there's really nothing on my Facebook or email that needs anything. And I'm at home alone in silence and without any internet, and I'm getting downloads from within. I'm seeing that, wow, because I've got this space where I don't have internet or anything. I'm receiving these inspirations, these incredible presences and information and guidance from just being alone within myself. So yeah, that's just it. You just need to create a space, a silent, still space in nature, and then you can receive these inner downloads, these inner guidances and inspirations.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is really lovely, and you don't need anything. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to not be so busy. Let's say you don't need it. It's that you don't take those detours, those thoughts that are offered to you that are against the truth, that are against you joining in the truth. You don't have to take any of those thought offering like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that, or I should be doing this, or oh no, I didn't have my spiritual practice today, or something. Anything that causes concern, anything that makes you pause, like have pause, that is against your joining in this truth. It's against the truth. And so if you follow it, if you just believe in it, then it's almost like an impurity. There's like an impurity or a heaviness in your mind. And that heaviness is a density that becomes the cause of any kind of problem precedes problem, you know, illness, accidents, conflict, everything like that. Everything is coming out of the mind. Everything that we perceive is a projection of thought. So any thought that, you know, you might say, one word to call it is an attack thought. It attacks you or attacks someone else. Or, you know, even if it attacks something.
Well, but that's when you consider, when you think about either doing or what you didn't do. It's the being the doer it's the conflict.
Well, that there's any autonomous doing, that there's any autonomy from the mind. Okay, as if it's not just a projection of the mind. And the reason the reason you would want to know this is so that you don't have to believe in anything, you don't have to give reality to anything that is against you, and you can feel it. You can feel it. And it's like an outer person or an outer, you know, uh, government or whatever cannot be against you. It has to be coming from within. It has to be coming from within. You know, anything that you perceive to be out of place, not to your liking, anything like that, it can all be healed. It can all just be healed. Just in allowing it, allowing the feelings, sensations, and noticing when you're moved from that joy of receiving God's love, let's say. Whenever you're like removed from that, to have that feeling, it's fine, don't push it away. But then also don't justify it. Don't rise up with it as if it's real. Don't give it strength or power. See? Even the feeling is just a passing thing. It's also a projection of the mind. There's no reality to it whatsoever. It's basically like a guidance system.
Mm.
Your guide uses it.
Your radar of truth.
Yes. Hooray, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, every crisis is an opportunity for enlightenment. That's what it's for.
That's what everything is for. And anytime you're not feeling it, you're not feeling in alignment, let's say, another word for it, remember I'm just pointing. Whenever you're not feeling in alignment, you've just believed something that's not true. That's all. You know, it may be a belief that you practice for a really long time and it seems like it's super, super real, but you don't know. You don't, you know, it's like we don't know what we're looking at. These interpretations of energy that are being made in the brain, they're not saying anything that really has any meaning to us. That has meaning for the body's mind, the projected mind. It can work it out. And it can be worked out so much easier so then, you know, the people make it thinking that it's real. The things, the problems that you seem to have, they just kind of like work themselves out. It's like you're watching a show, whether it's a health problem or anything like that. In fact, you know, just a reminder, it was just giving me to give this reminder that, you know, if you are sick, if you feel sick or you perceive anyone else as being sick, it's a mistake in your mind. It's an error that can be corrected.
Yeah, there's a good mistake happening out there. Everyone wearing masks and afraid of virus. So.
Well, look, and here's how you can tell that you can tell that it's a mistake. When you just talk about it right there, there is some energy that's like that's sort of like a I don't even know how to describe it, but it's kind of like, oh, you know, that's happening that's happening, and it's oppressive.
Oh,
Oppressed. That's it.
I was just kind of in a joking mode.
Oh, I know.
But,
I know. I'm just talking about energetically. You could say, for my perception, the way I'm projecting it. So the way I see it, that sounds like there's a feeling that's going, I'm oppressed. So watching that feeling, and see, this is a worldly feeling, so it's not a personal thing. That means it's going to arise. So hooray. It's a worldly feeling to feel oppressed.
yeah,
As long as you're perceiving a body, you're having worldly feelings.
oppression, that's the key word.
Yes.
Everyone's oppressed.
Well, and what it isn't even important as far as what you made it in the mind. It's the feeling of it that's big. It's the feeling of it. That feeling is for you so that you can see through the illusion. When you see through the illusion, you see through the illusion for everyone. It's just, it's calm. It's calmness. It allows calmness because you're allowing yourself to get that feeling of oppression. Every time it occurs to you, every time you even think about wearing masks, every time you even think you have a thought of I'm going to the store, I need to wear a mask. Check in, see how you feel, and let that feeling be like your guidance. See, it's like you could say the feeling system is like a device that's used by your guide to show you the way. And it's always, it's always somewhere, somewhere close, let's say. It's close to the next step, the next right thought, let's say, is really close. It's like either the thought can go up and get lighter, or the thought stream can go down and get more and more dense. And it all occurs through feeling. So when you allow yourself to be uplifted, automatically you're going to be aware of those better feeling thoughts. You're just going to come aware of those better feeling thoughts. See? But if you're not in tune with how you feel, the next thought will be guided by the ego. If you don't notice that you just got upset. And the littlest thing is the biggest thing. It could seem like the littlest thing. There's not a problem with you feeling upset. The goal is not to stop feeling upset. You could say it's to find comfort within feeling upset, because through that comfort, there's going to be healing. And that's healing for everyone. It's really, it's really the greatest healing thing you can do in a perceived, what is this? It's called a pandemic? Plandemic. But it'd also be called like a health crisis, like any health crisis.
Yeah.
Whether it's a personal one, or it's your spouse, your child, your parent, or anything like that, or anything, it's like, if you look at it like that, like every time you think of it and you're checking in with how you feel and you're allowing yourself to be comforted, that's the most healing service there is. Because whenever you're having a thought of something, it's a projection. And when you're not feeding that projection with belief, then it has no power. But while you're feeding the projection, it's moving to make more illusions of sickness. So it's up to each one within their own field of energy to allow that comfort for themselves. It's not to try to change something in the world, even if the appearance of that is happening. I mean, maybe you're someone who's doing some things, I don't know, but even if the appearance of that is, it's still a projection. So it's not like you have to take anything on for yourself. You just allow the comfort, and then the next right thought, let's say, occurs to you. the next right thought because it lifts you higher. See? You can say, take silence. That's another one. And it's really the same thing. You know, if your mind is going to be quiet, then there has to be less pursuit of the thoughts that occur because they just keep occurring. Do you notice that? Like one after the other. They just keep on occurring. So, you know, if you're watching the thoughts that are occurring and noticing how you feel and allowing comfort for yourself, you're not following thoughts of discomfort. There's way fewer thoughts. And that's when you start to receive your guidance from the spirit. You know, you could have all kinds of insights, and you do when there's space, when there's some space. And that's all it is in meditation too. Like if you're sitting for meditation, right? Especially in Vipassana meditation, which is a Buddhist meditation where you pay attention to the skin on your body, all the way up and down your body, and how that feels, the sensation on the skin. As soon as you get the sensation, you move. So thoughts are occurring to you this whole time, right? But your focus is on moving attention to different energy sensations in the body. So the thoughts are, you're becoming more aware of them, and then they start to be less. And then and then at some point there's like none, and it's just like completely silent, you know. It's just like that, but it's, you know, you can have that all day long. You can have that sense of meditation all day long because of seeing what's occurring to you and choosing whether or not it's meaningful to you. You know, and for me, it's just like, it's not meaningful if it's not purely joyful and loving. You know, it's not meaningful. I need something. I know what I want. That's another one. When you think you know what you want, that's not a good feeling.
Because you don't have it yet.
Yeah, because you don't have it. Exactly. You know, attachment to bodies. Oh God, what will I do if this person leaves me or dies or, I don't know, goes to prison, anything like that. Attachment to bodies, that's another one. You know, these bodies are occurring to you in your mind. You're projecting bodies. The love behind each body is real. It's you. But what you're making of them, the perception you're having is not true. It's not truly who they are. They come for one purpose because we share a common goal. And that's to see through this illusion, through this illusory world. They come with a common goal. Not all of us know that yet. But you know, things like pandemics and stuff like that, you know, they're meant to bring that about too. Plandemic, whatever you want to call it. So when we come together, whenever we come together, that's what it's for. And if we're not coming together for any reason, the person gets transferred to another state, they move, whatever, they aren't meant to be in our experience at that time. We're meant to have a different experience. Even if they passed away. I met one friend last night whose girlfriend recently passed away. She was missing and then she passed away. And the way he saw the whole thing was so beautiful. You know, he's just like super grateful to her, all, you know, what a loving connection we have and everything like that. And it's all in the mind. So there's no sorrow. There's no need for sorrow about things except for the belief we put into it. That doesn't mean it's bad to be sorrowful about things. That's not what I'm saying. I know that's a big defense that goes up for the ego. I shouldn't be crying or something. No, that's not what it's saying at all. If you're crying or you're upset or something like that, that could be so healing. That could be so healing if you're just not justifying the feeling. If you're just not justifying the feeling. Because if you're not justifying it, that's not meant to make you guilty. That's not meant to make you guilty. Like, oh, I'm crying for no reason. Well, you are, but not like that. You know, all crying is for a reason that you made up, that you separated yourself from heaven, from reality. It's a belief that underlies the world. That's what allows the world to be propped up and you to seem like you're separate. It's a belief in separation. That's all you're ever crying about. Even if it seems like you're crying because someone died, or you're crying because you think you're a failure, or you're crying because, you know, someone called you stupid, you know, it's always the same thing. It's always the same. It's always coming from the thought that you separated yourself from your reality. Oh, there's another word, scamdemic. I love it, Heidi. Thank you. Okay, that's totally new to me. I love you, Yvette. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining on Facebook. I love you.
So to be able to see the scams, know the truth.
That's right. And, you know, if you see it as a scamdemic or a plandemic or anything like that, make sure that each time that thought occurs to you that you're getting comfort. Because if you're allowing yourself to get comfort within that thought, you're not feeling victimized by any scamdemic. You're stoked for it. You know, and in that, any kind of perceived action that needs to be made to make the illusion of something happened and it changed, it'll occur naturally. It's like nature. It just occurs. It just plays itself out naturally. So if you're allowing yourself to get the comfort in your energy field, in your field, then whatever you perceive is changing in that way. You know, you're experiencing more and more calm with everything. You know, I noticed with the mask, with those putting those masks on, because here in Hawaii, it's mandatory that we wear a mask in a store, you guys. It's really interesting. I was talking to my brother in Vegas, and they don't have to do it over there. They have a shitload more people. But, you know, it's fun. So I take the mask, put it on, tie it back here, and I'm like instantly feeling anxious. Instantly. I put that thing on. I'm in the store and I'm noticing, whoa, what's coming over me? You know, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And it feels like I can't breathe. How can I wear this thing? I really can't breathe. So I'm wearing this mask and feeling really anxious, and I you know, feel like I'm kind of going to jump out of my skin. And then it just calms down because it's noticed. See, you see the difference between these thoughts occur to me that I can't breathe in this thing. Thoughts occur to me like, why do I have to wear this thing or anything like that? And they're not followed. Because it's like, because there's that allowing to get the comfort. When I see the anxiety arise, there's an allowing for comfort within the anxiety. And then I find myself breathing fine and being comfortable. And it might come in waves, like occur and then, and you can play with it. It's like fun. It's like hide and seek. Where am I? Where's my real feeling? Where's my real feeling? Notice that? Something comes in and all of a sudden the real feeling is covered up. It's like being veiled. It's like, ooh, how fun. How fun. I can play with this. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. When you play with it like that, not only do you get to have fun, which is awesome, you know, but you're also clearing out what I called earlier those impurities in the mind, the shared mind. So it's not bought into when it meets your energy field, it's not bought into and given strength. See? And it doesn't matter what side of any issue you find yourself on. Doesn't matter what side. I know I have my good friend Heidi on here, and she's so awesome. She's got one side, very opinionated on one side, and she's telling me I've been peaceful through it all, and I believe it for sure. And she's got this opinion, and the thing is about opinions, whatever side you seem to be on, you think it's a scamdemic, or it's really real, and people are misbehaving if they're not just automatically following all the rules, you know, and those are conditioned. Those opinions, they're conditioned. They're according to everything, all of the information we've taken in, we've observed through basically a projection of our brain. And it's meant to be in opposition to someone else's. That's how it is. That's how opinions are. They're meant to be in opposition to someone else's. So it's like if you seem to have a position and you seem to have an opinion on something, great. But you can like Heidi said, be peaceful through it all, because that opinion is conditioned, and you don't have to have any conflict about having that opinion, even if you're sharing that opinion, and she does. It's really fun. Thank you.
She does have conflict, or she doesn't?
No, she does. She sees it. She sees through that. I noticed that. She has a very strong opinion, but she's not. You can say being mean.
What's her opinion?
Oh, that's not relevant. You can check her out later if you want. Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
She's the one that thinks it's a scam, or she's the one that.
Oh, she's on the scam side for sure. She's the one who said scamdemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
You can rest a little easier when you don't believe in it. Give it power than people that do believe in it give it power and are afraid.
Yes. Yes. If you're afraid, that's how you know. If your opinion, your belief is making you afraid, that's just, it can't be true.
But aren't the scamdemic people also afraid of the fact that it's a scam and that we're all being oppressed?
Well, I guess you can.
It would be up to each person. It would be up to each person. It would be up to each person to feel that for themselves. Mm-hmm. That's how you know. Mm-hmm. You don't know by perceiving another person. They're giving you that perception for yourself. So, if you think it's a scam and it feels bad, you don't have to believe in that thought. You think it's a scam and it's fucking awesome, you can play with it. You don't have to give it a lot of belief, but you can play with it and not hurt yourself.
Not give it power and just be able to play with it.
That's right.
Instead of thinking it's a scam and you have to worry about what the government's going to do to you next. They're going to scam you the next time.
But is it even possible to hurt yourself?
Well, here's the thing. You cannot hurt yourself in reality.
Yes.
In reality. But what you're perceiving is not reality. So by hurt yourself, basically give yourself upset feeling. See?
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently hurt yourself.
Yes. That it's also playful, because that's why whenever you have an upset feeling, it's not serious.
Yeah.
Because of who you are, because you have dominion, that upset feeling is not serious. There's nothing serious about it.
Seems like there's nothing serious, period.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the upset feeling is like, hey, you can have more joy. Guess what? You could have more joy. It's like a friend, like, guess what? You could have more joy. But with the ego's going, oh, you don't want that feeling. Yeah, you don't want that feeling. You know, you need to resist it in thought. You need to think your way out of it.
So that's the healing feeling effect, is you can have more joy.
Yeah. And Kai Molino said, joy-demic.
Joy-demic.
Yes. Aloha. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Yes, just make it a joy-demic. And you know, joy is very contagious too.
That's what we need.
I noticed that. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. It's like people, even though we have our mask on, we could just see our eyes, right? Like from here up, you know, we could just see our eyes. And you know, you walk around and you just like are sharing joy. People are wearing their masks and stuff, and you can tell by their eyes that whatever they're thinking, it's making them afraid. Like a lot of the times, if you notice that, that's really sweet, because those are all reflections of your mind. And I notice, I love to see the change in the eyes. You just see the eyes. You can't see the mouth smile or anything, but just to see the change in the eyes. It's like it's so perceptual. It's not them out there. It's so perceptual.
When you infect them with joy.
Infect them with joy. That's right. Infect them with joy. We just came up with the title for this one.
Ah, right.
Don't you love it?
Yeah.
Infect the scandemic with joy.
That's right. Because there is actually nothing happening. I mean, in reality, there's nothing happening. This is all just gonna like roll up like a scroll and then disappear. It's like nothing. It really is. And you know, see, the ego has the greatest fear is of you seeing that it's nothing. If you seeing that this is meaningless, that's like the worst to the ego. You know, the ego is like, God forbid you see that this is meaningless. And that the whole thing is just spinning on this belief that you can be threatened. You separated yourself and now you can be threatened. So you're going to have manifestations like a pandemic or a plandemic. It doesn't matter. It's really the same thing. It's just a projection to bring up a feeling. That's all. So everyone who's perceiving this thing go on where, you know, you wear masks. That's basically the thing I see about it the most is you wear masks, because it seems like we pretty much do the same thing. But we don't cruise down to Kahena and hang out on the nude beach.
Or you get a ticket.
Or you get a ticket. That's right. But you know, it's like when you have a perception of something like this, when you have any kind of perception, like it's kind of like you're on restriction a little bit. You know, you have to wear this and you can't go here.
That's what it is.
We're grounded. By the way, I have an essential oil for that. It's called grounded essential oil. Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing about being grounded too, is being grounded in the spirit. Being grounded in the spirit. That means whatever it is that occurs to you, whatever it is, you're stoked about using it for healing, for awakening the mind, for bringing more joy, for infecting the world with joy. It's a new kind of infection. I don't know if infection has a bad connotation, but it's a new kind of infection.
Yeah.
Infect them with joy. Just so glad and inspired and grateful to be in the presence of anyone who arises, anyone who occurs to us, you know, and willingness to be without attachment, whether they stay, what they do, you know, you can be kicking them out and loving it. Just to, to have a space with one another, make the space, open the space with one another, and it's almost like we become partners in it. And A Course in Miracles calls it holy relationship, and that's where you meet other people that are holding you in the highest, recognizing that anything they think against you must not be true. you know and you relate with people like that, and it's almost like they give you a womb for yourself to be born. You just make the space in your mind, and the others the others in the world, they'll seem to come to you and resonate to that, and you'll have those kinds of relationships with people. The holy relationship where you don't hold any thought against the person. I love you, Christine. Thank you so much. Yay.
Any thought that you might appear to be having against the person you realize is not true.
Yes, that's right. You're willing to recognize that. And you're going to meet people that also hold you like that. They're also willing to hold you like that. So if they have a perception of you having done something or said something that was wrong or bad or anything like that, they just don't carry that for you.
Yes.
They just will not carry that for you. And these kinds of relationships, you can see why they're called a holy relationship. They're allowing your innocence to be reborn in the world. And that's just automatic when you're open to that. And, if you're perceiving a person who's not allowing, it looks like, wow, I'm not safe. I'm not safe here. This person is accusing me and all this kind of stuff. They're talking mean to me. They're talking down to me. They're, convincing me that I'm not enough. This person is going to, it's time to check in and recognize that that's your own mind, that's your own projection, and you are not stuck with them. You're not stuck. As you're allowing yourself to get that comfort, your direction is being made for you. Your direction toward more of what it is that your heart desires, you can say, is being made for you. And all of your actions are being done for you. All of your words are being spoken for you. And all of the things are just working out for you. Everything is working out in your favor. So if you find yourself being, you could call it, okay, verbally abused. That just popped into my mind. You call it verbally abused. Let's say you're being verbally abused. That's the perception you're having. In recognizing that that's you putting on that show. That's actually you putting on that show for yourself. It's like they're acting it out for you. You can say you taught them how to be like that to you. You can say, all right. So now you start to teach them differently. Now you start to teach them differently because they are in your mind, and your mind is the only thing that can be taught. You don't try to teach them as a separate individual, because the way you're relating with them, that's the teaching. So when you're relating with them and someone's, you could say, is verbally abusing you, just to make it concise, someone's verbally abusing you, and you don't make it about them being outside of you, but you ask to see how you're making them like that. You ask to see through that, to see how you're making them like that, because it's some kind of impure thought about yourself that's making the projection. When you see it like that, and you really see it, like you follow your guide to it, you're asking for it and you're following your guide to it so you can see it, so it could be revealed, and feeling it, then you're going to see, and you're going to feel so good and so grateful that they came up and said that to you. When you really see, there's only gratitude for it. So when you're not seeing it, just be open to it. Just be open to seeing. That's all you need. It's just a little openness there, instead of thinking that you know. You don't even have to think, how do I get out of this relationship? How do I get out of this relationship? You don't even have to follow that kind of thought. Just rest in the feeling. Let that feeling go. Do whatever it wants to do in your energy field. Rest within it. Rest behind it, beneath it, you can say, instead of pursuing the thoughts. And watch how things change. You end up seeing more peace. Ah, I love you. Thank you. Aloha. Thank you. I see all your comments on Facebook. So if you have any questions or anything, let me know. And people who are on the webinar with me, feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to dialogue with me. Yay, I love you. Thank you.
Earlier you said that the feelings are bringing up this projection, right? And I see how that's true, but then there's another thing you said, which is that, oh no, you said it differently. You said the projection is bringing up feelings, right?
Okay.
And I was going to point out that it's at least equally true that, as you say, the feelings are bringing up projection. Right?
Okay, so it's like this. It's one projection.
Okay.
The feelings, but there's kind of like an order to it. And I've said this a lot of times in a lot of different ways throughout a lot of my videos, that there's like kind of an order to it. So there's the mind, there's the projected mind. That's the mind that thinks it's separate. There's the projected mind. Okay. And then the projected mind projects feeling and the perceived world. The feeling becomes a habitual thing. So that feeling becomes something that's more like habitual. It's almost like a drug. It makes you feel alive as a separate individual. So it has it's almost like a hit of something. It's almost like a hit of some kind of drug.
Drama drug.
It's a drama drug. Right. And off of the habitual feelings, it's kind of like the feeling and the projection are almost the same thing, like that. But the feeling is more of a habit, and then the projection, that's like always changing, but it goes along with the feeling, right? It goes along with the feeling.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
what I asked, because maybe you've said it a bunch of times, but I hadn't heard it quite like that.
Me neither. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Isn't that for fun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So since it's all you, and you have dominion over it all, that's why, I encourage you to go back to the feeling in the body's field. You can also look at your breath. Just don't make it so that becomes like a rote thing, or something that you're guilty of not doing if you find yourself not doing it. Just be careful of these thoughts, because they're super powerful. Don't underestimate the power of them. And you could completely reclaim all the power that you gave them in an instant. You're just willing to withdraw your belief in that thing. And so your attention to any kind of energy, even if, I'm talking to people maybe who don't sense their body's energy field. That's possible. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about when I say that. Then, you could just pinch yourself and feel what that feels like. Bite your lip. And just get that sensation. And when your attention turns to sensation more and more, and that becomes more interesting to you than pursuing a thought that's making you feel upset, then you're going to become more and more aware of the subtleties, the subtle changes in your energy field. And, that's a moment to moment thing. So even if you feel like you had a sudden change and maybe you missed it and now you're like in a bad mood, it's such a moment to moment thing. That bad mood can be seen right through. You don't have to necessarily work your way out of it gradually, although that's how it may go for you. But that's what I mean by the next right thought. The next right thought to deliver you back to joy. You don't have to deny that you're perceiving what you're perceiving. Whatever you're perceiving is very real to you. You freaking made it up and you made yourself believe it. It's very real to you. You don't have to deny that it's happening in that way as a real thing that you made up to be real. But deny any truth to it in the moment. As if it has any power over you. I feel like this thing really has power over me. Gosh, every time I go to the store, I'm feeling kind of pissed. Like I want to rebel or something. Which, it's not a bad thing. Rebel isn't a bad word or anything. But first, find your comfort. Just find the comfort. And in your comfort, you get the good guidance. Yay, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the spirit that comes from within and speaks to everyone. Okay? Speaks to everyone. It's the spirit of love. It's the same thing. It's anything that lives, anything that lives apparently on the planet. There's really no planet, including the planet, is being given this love. You could say love, wisdom. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It comes from within. It's a great amount of comfort. It's comfort that you're willing to share. It's a comfort that you don't need to try to make anyone get. It's a being in comfort. And it's automatically shared, even the people that don't seem like they receive it. Even if there's a person who doesn't seem like they receive it. Anything you gave in sincerity, the love that you shared, it's always working. Always working throughout all time.
There are people that apparently gave me love in the past, but it took a really long time, apparently, for it to work through. But that's all just a dream that even was a different time or place.
Yes, exactly. It works on all time.
Yes.
Yeah, it works on all time. It changes everything. You can say love changes everything because it makes it all the same. It just loves. It's all the same. Oh, someone doesn't like you. Oh, I love them.
It was all love.
It's all love. And, you know, like it says in the Bible, every eye will see. Every eye will see that it was all love. And it is all love. And as that's seen, the world is disappearing. The world is disappearing. And the reason the world gets heavier or intense is to give you that incentive. You want that incentive to see through this world. You know, whether you know it or not, you want that incentive to see through this world. I know there's major ego defensiveness to that. The awareness that you need to see through the world is the awareness of who you are. So as long as you're perceiving a world, you don't know who you are. Isn't that fun? And myself included. I'm saying that about myself included. Because if I decide that I know who I am, then how am I going to receive the guidance from the guide that actually knows who I am? See? And in receiving the guidance, that's how it's coming into my awareness who I am. And as it comes into my awareness who I am, I will not see the world at one point, and then I'll know. See? Having a perception of the world is not knowing who you are.
So on the one hand, knowing who we are to the extent that we might is a comfort in us, but yet it's just an inkling of the true knowing, and that will be when we no longer see.
Right. So you see the comforter. I'm talking about letting yourself get comforted, be comforted by the comforter that's been given you, right? And as you're being comforted, you're also, your true self is also coming into your awareness. That's why you do not feel concerned and know who you are.
Yeah.
You do not feel concerned. And watch the fluctuations. Even if you feel completely aligned, fully comforted, watch the fluctuation. That will pass. As long as you're perceiving a world, that will pass.
As long as you're perceiving time.
Yes, that's right. Don't you love it?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Kai Malini, that's fun too. Are we all thoughts of the child of God, helping it to remember its source? Are we all thoughts? That's a really awesome way to put it. I love it. You know, we're thoughts of the projected mind. These bodies, they're being thoughts of the projected mind. You know, you can say the projected mind is a child of God, a child of the mind. You know, a child of the one mind. It thought itself to be separate.
Our only child.
Yes, the only child. And so that's why, the Buddha said, love the world as if it's your only child. And, basically it is. And, yeah, I love it. Thank you for helping it to remember its source. That's really beautiful. Thank you. Yes, you could be having fun all the time. You could be. And that's the reason why when you're not, you can ask for a correction. Anytime you're not, you can notice the smallest thing. There's nothing too small. There's no upset too small. There's no upset too small for healing. You know, you can find yourself like I did yesterday, just trying to make a U-turn in an SUV in a tight space. And I get the beep, 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 beep on the back and the beep, beep, beep on the front of the car because it gets close to bushes. And then all of a sudden I notice myself in an energy like, Jesus fucking Christ. While I'm turning the wheel. And I'm like, whoa. And in just in an instant, just like right there, not even any stride is broken, the comfort comes because there's noticing.
You were calling out to God.
Yeah, it's comical. It's kind of comical, you know, to just see that because it's like the ego just like boom, 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 boom. There it is, and I just go and I just go, oh, that's funny, you know, kind of like not those words, but and then the comfort just immediately comes in, and then I find myself completely turning the steering wheel different. Like just it's like it's like fun again, just like instantly. See? So, you know, when I'm talking about impurities and allowing impurities to add up, say something like that occurs to you and you get serious for a second and you're like that, you know, you just get in like an energy like that and you don't notice it. And if you don't notice it, it kind of like adds up, like it's something bad happened to you, you know, and it kind of adds up like a density in your mind. So it's like when it's noticed, it's like it's also purified because there's a change that takes place. There's a change that takes place. And it could be even noticed after the fact, and there's a change that takes place. And it's not like you're ever going to miss your opportunity. A missed opportunity is basically making the opportunity come back again. That's all. So, you know, after the fact, you see, even if you see it after the fact, it's just like in noticing what occurred to you. Nothing happened, but what occurred to you, what's occurring to you right now about it, and letting yourself get the comfort right there. See, you're not going to miss anything because there's only now. Okay. Aren't we just light and energy appearing as imaginary formless forms? Yes, sure. Why not? Why not? You can say that too. The main thing is that you get the purpose of it. The main thing is getting the purpose of it. You can say that. You know, we're nothing. So anything we say we are, we're making it up. Anything we say we are, we're just making it up. It's for reference. It's like a pointer. When you know it, you know it. It's not like words, but you know, and you're open to it. If the words inspire you and make you feel like you're open, like one person might go, thoughts of the child of God, helping it to remember its source. Oh, that I love the way that feeling came across. Thank you. That's beautiful. And then aren't we just light and energy appearing as imaginary formless forms? Yes. Thank you. That, you know, you feel that feeling of it, because it can't really be defined like that, but you feel that feeling of it because it's just a spinning thing that we made up. It doesn't have any real solidity to it. There's no reality to it.
Because we don't know the truth, but that is our guide. Is that feeling? That's
our guide. So I said this before, but it definitely bears repeating that when we came up with the thought of separation, we were immediately given the guide that knows what we think of ourselves and also knows who we are. We immediately, like right beside that whole thought system that's based on fear, that's based on the thought of separation, right but alongside of that is the guide that has the thoughts of truth. For one, the thoughts that resonate with the truth, and they resonate with the truth because of, they resonate with the truth because of the comfort that is received in them. And it's not a comfort like a material comfort. It's a comforting being. Okay. That guide knows who you are, and that guide also knows who you think you are. And that guide uses feeling to communicate with you. See? So as you're allowing that, or as you're allowing that guide to communicate with you, you know, you have two guides. One of them is the ego, the guide that you made up, the guide you're guiding you deeper into separation. That's the ego guide, and that feels upsetting. It's like, it's been called out of alignment with your source. Out of alignment with your source. It's a feeling sensation. It's being given to you so that you know when you need help, and you can ask for help. And when you ask for help, it's given you. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. It's possible to have fun all the time. Yay. Yes. Yay. Yay. Aloha, B. I love you. Okay, let's have Yulia promote to panelists. Yulia, aloha, my love. I love you, Jerry. Thank you.
Aloha, just taking me a moment. Hi, aloha, hope.
Aloha.
So good to be here again.
I'm so stoked to have you. Thank you.
Oh, so I had one thing I wanted to bring up, but now I have another question. When you spoke about the two guides,
Yes.
so what do you mean by a guide?
What's that?
Yeah, what do you mean by a guide? You said you're given a guide,
Well, basically, it's a thought system.
a thought system.
Yeah. So like the ego guide, you could say the ego guide, and remember the words are all symbolic. So you're gonna feel this when it's being shown to you in your own unique way. Okay. So that you could say the ego is the guide of the thought system that's based on fear. And the good guide, the great comforter, the Holy Spirit is like the one in charge of all the thoughts that resonate with who you are. The guide uses the thoughts. The guide uses the thoughts. Each guide is using thought. See, in each moment, you have a thought that's going toward love, toward your comforter, opening up. And you also have thoughts that lead to fear. And it's like you choose, you know, you don't have to go, well, do I want this thought specifically or this thought specifically? But you choose based on how much you're willing to receive, how much comfort you're willing to receive, which thought is going to be the next thought that, you know, you go along with. And it's based on whatever, like say you have the thought of, oh gosh, I feel oppressed, or maybe it's not in those words, but why do we have to wear this mask? Like, for instance, say you have that thought occurs to you, and you realize that thought, or you're willing to notice that thought is coming from the ego. It's coming from the ego guide that has to do with anything that has to do with concern or anything like that. So you're willing to relax it and have a different interpretation of this, whatever your brain is projecting, the mask or anything. And when you're willing to have a different interpretation, that's the thoughts that are used by your good guide. It's showing you the thoughts that show you who you are and what power you do have in this. See?
Yeah, and that kind of ties into a little bit what I was thinking. A couple wisdom dialogues ago, I asked something again about feeling bad about something about my kids not being able to get rid of some feeling of dissatisfaction or upset about certain things about them. So, and you said like, but who is feeling that? And that really got me like, wait, that's it. There's the identification with it. That's the thing.
Good.
Yeah, that's oh my God, I'm losing my question. What was the question? So now every time something like that happens, I remember that. I remember like, oh wait, identification.
Yes. It's like, who is this occurring to?
Uh-huh. So that's pretty much all you can do.
Not why. Don't ask why. One of my friends after Wisdom Dialogues came up to me and said, why? Just ask, why is this happening? And I go, and I could just feel it. It's like, no, not why. There's no why like that.
Yeah,
Don't
I
make
sense
yourself
it.
guilty. Don't make yourself guilty. It's like, who is this occurring to?
The why is for some reason, a trick
Yeah,
question. As you start thinking, but why is it this way?
yeah.
That's almost like the thought that was coming up, like, well, why is it that we have to have separation and have two guides and have identification with either this guy or guide or that guide, and who is identifying, that sort of starts.
It makes it so easy though,
Yeah.
because there's only two sides. Remember, I told you there last week or something like that. There's only two sides. It's like you're either feeling on the grateful, happy, joyful side, or you're feeling on the frustrated, angry, whatever side. It's very, there's a major contrast in feeling between these two sides. If you know, if you make it a point to notice, you'll know what side you're on all the time, and you'll notice how it's always fluctuating all the time. It's always fluctuating. So whenever it fluctuates over to the fear side, it's really easy. It's like, I need help. Help me. And you're asking for help from your guide. And it's like a nod to God. It's like you're asking for what can truly be given you and will be given to you if you're asking for it. That's the thing. If you're asking for it, if you're not asking for it, you can't have it, not because it's not being given, but because you're defending against it.
So, and we always ask, but it seems like we're used to asking for before we get this idea that you could ask for another interpretation. It's usually, can I have a change of circumstance or something?
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's wanting the change of circumstances. You're asking wrongly, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a guilty way, but you're asking amiss because you don't understand what you're asking for. You're just asking for more illusion. You're just asking for more of the same. Even in prayer, like telling God what you want, that's not asking for what you really want. It's resisting what you really want. It's resisting it. It's closing yourself off. So it's like, one thing I like to share with people all the time is you don't know what you want.
I remember that very well too, right?
Yes. And if you think you know what you want, it's trouble for you. It's trouble for you. You could be playful with a want. I'm not saying you can't be playful with a want, like I want to, I don't know, go to Cinderland and have Taco Tuesday tonight. And I'll probably find myself doing that. But it's not like I know that I really want it. Like if something else occurs where I don't find myself at Cinderland, then I know that's perfect for me, because it's not like I have to do it now because I want to do it. That's just something that's playing out. You notice it and it's playing out. But when you don't identify with any wants, then you're not on the hook. You're not on the hook for suffering. It's kind of like you put yourself on the hook for suffering when you identify with what you think you want. All that you want is only available now. All that you want is only available now. So then those perceived wants are just playful. They're no problem.
It seems like that as long as we think or we have to use language, we can't escape identification at all.
Well, you can and you will. You can and you will. Just be playful with the identification.
Because who is going to be playful with identification? Who is choosing one thought system or another? There's still identification.
That's the freedom of choice that you have. That's the free will. That's the free will that you've been given. It's like as when you say who, you say, you say who, you're saying who is this? Who is making a choice?
Mm-hmm.
Always a choice between truth and illusion. The reason you have a choice is because you made a choice. You made a choice for illusion. You made a choice for fear. You made a choice to believe in separation. And because you made that choice, you have been given another choice.
Fascinating. But
isn't that so kind?
if you're not aware of this, right? Of the fact that you could make that choice, if you're like before,
Yes.
because I used to think that I just want a change of circumstance.
Yes.
Do
Right.
many of us. Then in that sense, you don't have a choice
That's
because
saying you don't have a choice.
it never occurred to you that it could be this.
Exactly.
You don't have it until you have it.
You don't, well, you don't, for the most part, people don't know they have this choice. They don't know they have this choice. And then, I also, know some people who have followed spirituality for a while, like Yulia and Lori, who have gone, wait a minute. And the next defense is, wait a minute, why do I have to choose? And can I really choose? Or is this just robotic or something like that, And it's like, yes, it's really like, once you know that that's the only choice you have, you're going to see that more often than not, you're making that choice all the time. And when you're not making that choice, oh my gosh, it is so heavy. You can't help but repent.
Basically, you're forced to make that choice because if you don't, it hurts. Even
yeah. I see
who does hurt? Who does it hurt? Where's
it doesn't hurt anyone. That's the
it
point.
Still hurts. It's still there's the experience.
No, well, that's the point of the hurt, to bring you back. See, and it's like the more you know that you have that choice, and you can make that choice, the more it hurts. You want it like that. Because it accelerates your process. It accelerates your process. It makes it so that you're going to see through more quickly, because you don't want to hurt. And you know what? You don't. The pain isn't more. The pain isn't more than it ever was. It's just that you always covered it up with other stuff. The pain isn't more. It didn't increase the pain. It increased your awareness of it. That's all. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Nothing's really changed except your awareness has become more open. And because your awareness is more open, you're more sensitive to when you're attacking yourself and causing pain for yourself. And when you're sensitive to it, just like touching a hot stove, you're just like, oh, no, thank you. This is what I'm doing to myself. You get visuals of like this. You're punching yourself in the jaw. You just stop.
Right.
You don't know where that punch is coming from. You think it's coming from someone else. You think it's coming from outside of yourself. And you don't know that you have that choice. And be grateful that the pain is intensified. I know I am. I know I'm really grateful that the pain is intensified. Any little bit of upset is like, whoa. And then in that moment, the practice becomes, okay, let me see right here, the feeling of guilt or regret or anything like that. It comes up. Oh my goodness, let me see right through that. And it's just shown to you. You're given more comfort. Okay, Jasmine says, this has exactly been the theme for the past hours for me today. So nice. Yay. Thank you. Well, thank you for bringing that into the field. I appreciate that.
I feel like I've been, overall possibly experiencing a lot less pain over the last few years. And the only times when I did, and when it got intense, is when it seemed like I could not resist choosing it. It seems like it's not possible. And I remember you said, because you want it. And it's so wild because you feel like it's awful and you don't really want it, but you can't stop.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's like you can have the visual of yourself. I mean, I have before. I'm just laying on my back and kicking and screaming like a child. You know, like when you have the perception of this thought pattern and thing coming up about I'm so upset at this, so upset about this, so upset about this. And you might even find yourself doing it, laying on your back and just kicking and yelling and stuff, and find yourself feeling through all of that, but not in making it real. It becomes very healing to where you don't need
I
that.
haven't done that yet. I mean, I haven't done it like that yet. Imagining the screaming that I
Yeah.
did at one point not so long ago, just the screaming and driving around in my car and screaming because you
Yeah.
can see me or
Yeah.
hear.
That could be so powerful.
And I'm totally aware of all this stuff that's coming up, how it's just like not really me, but I also can't stop it. And the stuff, all the thoughts, the death wish, the murderous thoughts,
Mhm.
and the whole gamut.
Yeah.
And
And
it's just
and
coming,
com-
coming,
yeah, it's
coming.
just coming. Yeah, it's just comedy. I mean, one example, I found myself, I was just like feeding my cat, right? I go give the cat some food, and then I'm walking away, and all of a sudden this vision, I don't remember the vision clearly right now, but it was something like about the cat getting killed, and I was like, what the heck?
Wow.
Like something just comes, and it's like, when you notice it, but you're not making it mean anything. You're just noticing these. They're so random. They're just like out of the blue. And a lot of them go unnoticed, but you just like notice these things, and it's just like you can just laugh. It's not a problem. Weird things
Another
occur
level
to
of
you.
noticing.
Yeah, weird things occur to you all day long. Oh, okay. Jasmine, would you like to come on? I think you are. Okay. So, Yulia, I'm going to put you back to attendee, and then if you have any more questions, or else you can go mute. Either way, but I just like to have one person on here at a time.
Thank you, Hope.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Yay. Let me see how I do this.
How do you put me back in the box?
Put back in the box, okay? You're back to attention. Okay. Jasmine would like to, yes, Jasmine, I saw your hand, and if you put your hand up, and even if I don't acknowledge you, I see those hands. So let me know when you want to come on. Promote to panelists. Okay, you are coming on, Jasmine. And I'll see your hand, and as soon as I get done, I'll get to the next person. Yay. Thank you for joining. I don't hear you, but I see you. Somehow, I wonder if I have you mute. I will check that. I'm going to unmute you. Didn't let me do that.
Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you.
Yay!
Yay.
Nice. So I thought you were doing like last time when I joined, when we were multiple people on the screen. So
Yeah.
okay. But so nice to hear the topics that you and Julia had. They are so on point with everything that's, well, with my contemplation for the past hour, where I kind of realized like I wrote a poem, and as I was writing this poem, I was connecting to exactly the force that you were talking about. To me, I experience it as something that's like, it's just, let me see what I wrote in my notes. It's like, let me see. Or I can find it. But anyways, it was about like flow and that state when that thing that just well, I guess it's your vulnerability. Like for me, it's my vulnerability.
Okay.
It's it's my feminine side too. I realize it's the part of me that has no goal, the
Mm.
part of me that expresses itself without a goal, without a destination. It has no orientation. It's just is, and it's just flowing, and it's not going anywhere. It doesn't have a purpose.
Mhm.
It's just expressing.
Mhm.
Um, and I have not been very in touch with that side of myself. Actually, I have shamed it a lot and felt very guilty of it, and haven't allowed it at all because um, that was not encouraged in my childhood. I had to know what I was doing and why and all of these things. Um, yeah, nice, Julia, that you can relate. um, so, so I was like trying to. Um, Now I kind of lost myself. But yeah, so the feminine side. So that's what I realized, because I realized that I've been driven so much on a masculine behavior where I have to have a goal, I have to have an aim, I have to know where I'm going, I have to be level-headed, I have to know everything. My mother was like that. Like as soon as I didn't know, she would get violent, and it would be like, "What? You don't know?" And the punch would come up. So then I feared so much just expressing something that has no end to it. If I don't know where my expression is going, I'd rather just shut up, because if I can't defend it in any way, I'm screwed. So, but I haven't lived with her for years. So one realization was, why am I still a victim of something that, yes, it happened to me my 11 first years alive, but it's been 15, 16 years, 15 years since. But I'm still, a part of my head is like still in there, still a victim, still under her rule. But I'm not under her rule. Actually, not at all. So just waking up a little bit from that and being like, Jasmine, wake the f up. You are not a victim, you know.
Hey.
So, so nice.
And
And then,
and you know what? You know why you're not a victim too is because all that you perceive of your mother, that didn't happen. Your perception of it, your memory of it, it's like an imprint. And nothing really happened. See? So it's like you and your mom, it's more like this. It's like you and your mom teamed up to make this illusion of something happening together so that you guys could see through the guilty self-concept.
mm,
See,
yeah,
it's
that relates a
like a
little.
gift. It's like she's giving you a gift.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, I have had another understanding today that what breaks your heart tests your love for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So something happens to you only to see, like, then, so if someone breaks my heart, I can only rise or fall. There is no staying. So either I will be victimized by my broken heart, or I will realize that I need to love myself more.
Yeah.
So every time my heart is broken, I have the choice, the opportunity to love myself more, or I have to fall. But there is no staying because the heart is broken. So like that's the moment. That's a pivotal moment when life is like either you rise or you crash, but there's no staying.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. So
And
nice.
that's the choice. That's a really good and fun way of, pointing to that choice again. That choice we have
Mm.
between truth and illusion. Either you're going to rise or you're going to fall. And there's a stark difference between those two. There's a difference in feeling. you'll you'll notice it right away if you're looking for it.
Yeah, the illusion is like a cloud. It's like I have an experience where there is a person that sometimes I feel unimportant in the presence of the person. And then at some moment, I was thinking like, this person doesn't value me. This person doesn't think I'm important. But then I stopped and I was like, if just like tried just to look at it as objective as possibly. And I realized, no, no, no. I don't think I'm important. I'm putting the importance on the person to think I am important, while I can just think that I am important, and then I don't need the person to think that I'm important.
Well, even if you
Does
think
it
you're
make sense?
important, even if you think you're important, it's just made up. It doesn't mean anything. It just really doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. It's just for giving it's just for giving some validity to the self-image that you made. So, it's like trying to be important. And from my experience, making myself important in my own mind has never been fun. That's never been
Really?
fun. Yeah, because being an important person, then it's like you have all kinds of responsibilities for one thing that are your own responsibilities, and it just in recognizing that there really isn't a person. There really isn't a person. It seems like there's a person. It seems like they want it wants this thing, and it likes this thing, and it doesn't like beans, and you know it's like it seems like that, but it's just playing out. It's just playing out. So to me, I don't make that person important. It's just equal with all people. It's an equal. We're all the same thing. In fact, the person that I perceive is also one and the same as everything else in the perception. It's one thing. It's one general thing. So there's nothing that needs to be made into anything. Like the person doesn't really need to be made into anything for me to just get the sensation of apparently being a person, getting that sensation of apparently being a person, because there isn't really any person here.
But do you feel like, or do you feel very grounded? Are you kind of a grounded person?
Well, when it comes to grounded, it's the grounding that I'm looking for is grounded in spirit. In being grounded in spirit, all of these things can occur to you. Where I feel unimportant, for instance, that is a thing that's occurring to me, that I feel unimportant. But the thing is, that feeling and that thought are also unimportant. They're unimportant to me. That's not an important thing. It's a passing thing that's just coming and going.
In the
Because I feel it's quite grounding. Like, I'm a very not grounded person, and I have really been trying to ground myself. And I feel like my ungroundedness, my rootlessness, lays in that I don't feel safe in the world. I don't feel protected. I don't feel safe, which I relate to importance. So importance is not about being more important than everybody else. It's more that I see everyone as important except for me.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Fun.
So
That's fun. It's fun to play with.
yeah.
Fun to play with. And really, that's just identity as a person in the first place. So if you're identified as a person, what's saying I don't feel safe, that's the personhood. What's saying I don't feel safe is the personhood.
Mhm.
See, you are not really capable of not feeling safe. That's not your real feeling. That's not a real feeling. That's a
Mhm.
thought projected feeling.
Yeah. I guess the telling myself that I am important or safe makes me tap into that part of me that brings that feeling. It's like the word has the ability to bring me to the center where I'm like, oh yeah, I have this part of me. This part of me is here. That's not the part of me that's in fear or in worry or guilt or shame. But this part of me is grounded, is more like how to say pervasive. Like it's prevalent. I don't know, but it's like it's nothing. It's nothing, but it's not. It's everything but fear, anxiety, and all the negative stuff we can imagine. And it's not nothing of the positive either. It's just a positive feeling. It's just like you said earlier. You said a really nice word. You said when you and Julia were talking, you were saying like that it's not about the words, it's about the feeling that the words give. And
Yes.
that's exactly how I experience it. It's the feeling that they give me. They just like, for me, I feel it as I'm being rooted too, that I'm not scared. I'm not trying to escape. I'm not insisting on looking for solutions or for clues or for things, like frenetically looking for stuff to I don't know, relate to or cling to or find a story to. But suddenly I'm out of story. Suddenly I just like, ooh, I'm just me.
That's perfect for you. That's totally perfect.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like whatever it is that gives you that sense of relief, that sense of peace, it allows for the comfort for you, whatever it is. And that could also be a changing thing. And it probably will. It probably will be a changing thing. As your awareness of yourself grows, these whatever it is that you could say opens you up to the comfort changes. And so just
Yeah.
allowing for that to be in a flux, like this too passes. It's just like
Yeah.
right now, this is what resonates for me. And so it can lift you higher, and then things change again because your awareness opens up more.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
Victoria
Ever.
has a question. Are you still have something?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking I would just like to read my little poem and then we can finish.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, let me pull it out. It's funny, we were thinking the same thing though, that we both were like, okay, now we're. Let's see. Okay. It goes like this. No direction, senseless but sensitive. I am flow, divine grace, without beginning nor end. I am unknown and known by all. I receive and I give, but you can never know why or how. I surrender as I force, because my force is surrender. I don't want anything from you. I want you. You are me and I am you, the same, yet we are different. Can you see me in you? I see you me. I love you. You don't love me, so you don't love you. Who taught you love increased your pain. It's a crystal clear paradox. Will you love?
Yay, mahalo. Okay. Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening or day in your case.
Yeah, I love you. Aloha.
I love you. Bye.
Okay, let's see. So I have a question here from Victoria on Facebook. So if every experience is to heal the mind of the guilty self-concept and the belief in separation, is it just a game to play a part of God imagining being separate for something to do? Yes. That the idea that you imagine this because you were bored in heaven is something that the ego uses to keep this up. Like this is all there is. And this is creating. This is not creating. This is projecting. This is a projected world. It's not a created world. It's a projected world. So that idea that you did this for fun and you like it and you want to keep on doing it because it's better than heaven, that's not true. That's not the truth. You did it because you thought you had to, because you thought you separated yourself. It's the result of a mistaken self-belief. And all the experience, all that there is to use it for is to see through it. It's for seeing through it. And yes, in that it gets better, it gets lighter. It becomes a lighter experience. And of course, all your relationships improve instantly. Okay. And it gets to be a lighter, happier, and it's the dream gets happier. Still a dream, it's not reality. Reality is not conceivable from this perspective. It's a pure state of joy, ongoing, creating. And your creations are just like you. They can't be against you. They can't make you have a perception that they're threatening you. And they don't give you a perception of your body getting sick, for instance, of there being any kind of threat to you, to your life, or your well-being, or your happiness. So what is our purpose here in being an imaginary being? The purpose is always the same. The purpose is in every single thing is to know who you are. Always. All useful for that. All useful for that. All has the same exact purpose for you. And that's the purpose that you have with it too. It's like in this dream, you're as consciousness relating with thought. As consciousness, sleeping, relating with thought. Dreaming, relating with thought. And as you relate with thought, you're teaching your projected mind. You're teaching your projected mind by following the guidance of your inner guide, by following the guidance in your mind. It shows you by feeling. You're teaching your mind. Your mind is learning who you are, that projected mind that thinks it's separate, learning about who you are. And when all the learning is done, then you don't perceive anymore. You just see. See.
See through it.
Yes. Yay. That's all it's made for. That's all we made it up for. It's not for getting anything. And that's where the joy is, because in seeing through, remember who you're asking for guidance, it's the great comforter. That's one name. That's one of its names. This guide that's been given. The great comforter. Yay. Oh, Lori, yay. So when you're asking that guide, you're also feeling in joy. You're going in joy in whatever it is. And you become very sensitive to when that's been lost. Like, whoa, wait a second. Something's off. And then it's like hide and go seek. You let it back in again. Yay! Look at my attendees. Thank you for joining, Lori. Raise your hand if you want to come on. I love you. Yay. Thank you, everyone. And the world could use your joy more than anything right now. More than anything. Oh, I love you. The more you go in joy, let these comings and goings of the mind, this moving of the body, the speaking, everything, let it all come and go in joy. In the knowing that you don't need to know what you want in the world. You don't need to know what you want. You might have an idea of it. It's okay. You don't need to know that. It's really not. You could say the idea that crossed your mind, I want this. You could say it's kind of none of your business. That'll take care of itself. That'll just roll on out by itself.
Yeah, well, He knows your need and when you need it. What you need it for.
Yes, because of what it's for. Because of what it's for, because of the purpose that it serves, you're always given exactly what you need. You're always given, even in the perceived world. There can't be anything bad that happens to you in the perceived world.
Isn't there a Rolling Stone song? You can't always get what you want, but you try to get what you need.
You get what you need. Exactly. Exactly. It gives you exactly what it is that's going to trigger the feeling that will show you. You know, if you allow yourself to get that feeling that's been triggered, then you're asking for guidance. You're asking for a different interpretation. See, the way you perceived whatever you are perceiving right now, the interpretation that you made gave you a triggered reaction. The interpretation that you made. The feeling, it was already there. You just didn't get a sense of it until you had the triggered reaction. Okay. You'd say the underlying feeling actually made the perception that triggered it, so that you can get it. That's all. It's not for trying to make yourself guilty or trying to push it away. It's not like I shouldn't have this feeling, and as long as it wants to stay, it can. It doesn't have to go away anytime soon. But where there's an upset feeling, it gets appreciation. It gets noticed, it gets appreciation for the power that I gave something to make it so real to me. It's so funny. It's so fun. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. So if no one else has anything, I am going to Cinderland.
Paradise.
I'm going to paradise. Yay. Thank you. I feel complete. But if anyone has anything, just let me know. I'll be back next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Hawaii time. Had a wonderful wisdom dialogue session yesterday in person. That'll be posted to YouTube very soon. And if you want to find out more, you can go to my website, hopejohnson.org. I also have a beautiful essential oil line called Miracle Botanicals. And you can find that at miraclebotanicals.com. You can also send me an email if you'd like to speak with me, hopejohnson@me.com. Isn't that easy?
Me?
Me, M-E. Yeah, M-I. Aloha, Anne-Marie. I love you. Oh, thank you. I love you, Lori. Thank you so much. Until next time, mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.
Yippee.
Yay. Thank you.